Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Before revealing the Tehreek-e-Jadid initiative to the Jamaat, Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Anhu gave a couple of khutbat explaining what sacrifices would be required of Ahmadis. Huzur Raziyallahu Anhu explained that in response to his previous khutbah when he had told Ahmadis that he was about to reveal this great initiative to them, many had responded by saying that they were ready to sacrifice their lives and their wealth for the sake of this cause. Huzur Raziyallahu Anhu explained that although this is a source of happiness, but we cannot know how truly willing Ahmadis are to sacrifice until they know what the actual initiative is and what type of sacrifices will be required of them. Huzur said that if there was a need for Ahmadis to give their lives, then most Ahmadis would come forward and would readily offer this sacrifice. However, if there was a need for a long-term consistent sacrifice, then many Ahmadis would end up failing and would end up presenting excuses and would not be able to follow through to the end of this sacrifice. And so Huzur explained that to offer a long-term consistent sacrifice is far more difficult. Huzur Raziyallahu Anhu also explained that part of bayat to the Khalifa is to be able to offer a sacrifice even when we don't understand what its purpose is, whether it is because we have failed to understand it or because the purpose has to be kept hidden from us for a period of time. And so the true trial is to be able to offer a long-term sacrifice even if we do not understand what its purpose is. Anyone can offer a sacrifice if they know how it is in their interest and what the exact wisdom is behind it. We don't need to give bayat to someone in order to obey them in something that we already agree with them on and we understand its wisdom. The distinction of bayat is that we put our faith in the Khalifa. For example, if a person is in the military, many times the details of a certain operation cannot be revealed to the soldiers, but they put their faith in their general as their commanding officer and follow orders even when they do not understand what its wisdom is. And they will offer sacrifices for a long period of time without the full operation being explained to them. So if this is the level of faith that we can put into a commanding officer, then far greater faith is needed when it comes to Khilafat. Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Anhu explained that part of our obedience to Khilafat is not only to give a long-term and consistent sacrifice, but to give that sacrifice even if the wisdom and the purpose of that sacrifice cannot be explained to us, or if we fail to understand it. Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Anhu also explained that in order to understand the importance of this initiative, we must remember that the opposition that we face is not just religious opposition, but it is political opposition and economic opposition. The reason for this is that we stand on principle when it comes to bringing about religious, political, and economic reformation in the world. Naturally, those people who try to use religion, politics, and economics to benefit themselves personally at the expense of society, they will find us to be an obstacle. When we take a stand against such people based on principle for the benefit of people, we end up inevitably making enemies in all sections of society. We do not seek to create enmity with anyone, but our resolve to stand on principle and to not compromise with anyone's selfish desires to take advantage of religion, politics, or economics in society has the result that people end up becoming our enemies in society. Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Anhu explained that our case with our opponents is like the situation of a cat and a mouse. When a cat catches a mouse, many times it will let it go for a few moments and allow the mouse to recover. When the mouse regains consciousness and recovers, it sees that the cat is still there, and it waits for an opportunity to run away and escape. And the cat also seems as if it is ignoring the mouse, but it is watching it the whole time. When the mouse runs away, then the cat suddenly jumps onto the mouse and finishes it off. The opponents of Ahmadiyyat also consider themselves to be like this cat, and they consider the Jamaat to be a mouse, in that they can destroy it at any time that they want to, that our continued existence is only because they have chosen not to destroy us, and we are at their mercy. However, a time comes when they realize that we are not a mouse, but we are a lion, and this lion is going to conquer the world eventually. And when they realize that they have underestimated Jamaat Ahmadiyya, that is when they begin to oppose the Jamaat, to make different schemes to try and undermine the Jamaat and to bring it about its destruction. When our Jamaat stands on justice, for religion, for economics, for politics, and we become an obstacle in the way of these organizations that use religion, politics, and economics as a means of corruption, then they begin to oppose us. In this day and age, we also know, and our Khulafa have prophesied, that a time will come when great powers will stand against the Jamaat, and we will have to face all types of opposition. There are many powers in the world right now, in today's world, that consider the Jamaat to be insignificant. They present themselves as our allies. They ignore us, considering us to be insignificant. But when they see that we become an obstacle in their interests because of our stands on justice and uncompromising justice in every field, then a time may come, and in fact inevitably will come, when we will have to face opposition from these different powers. There are many powers in the world that consider the Jamaat to be a mouse that only exists because of their mercy, and that they can destroy it any time that they want to. However, when they realize that they have underestimated us, and that this is not a mouse but it is a lion, then those great powers that we consider to be our allies right now will rise in opposition to us, and there will be a great trial and difficulty that the members of the Jamaat will face. And so Hazrat Muslim Maud Radhiyallahu Anhu explained at the time when Tariq-e-Jadid was introduced, and this advice applies to us today all the more, that in order to face these oppositions, we must be ready to consistently offer sacrifices. And this is the greater sacrifice, not only to be able to offer our lives for the Jamaat, but also to present our lives on a daily basis and to offer long-term consistent sacrifices for the sake of Ahmadiyyat. This is a sacrifice where many people fail, and this is the sacrifice where we must succeed if we wish to be recipients of the blessings of Tariq-e-Jadid.